Rolling?
Yes, Brian?
Could you do me a favor real quick? And turn the lights on, please? Hello, people of Chicago. My name is Ryan Oliver, and it's nice to meet you. I was eating peanuts outside. I didn't buy them. Where did Nick go? Nick bought them for me. Because I was told there were a lot of people at the bar. Well, now my mouth is full of peanut bits. And it's actually more trouble than I thought it would be. But peanuts are temporary. And it's time for Jones. I was walking around a few nights ago, and I was sort of feeling a bit mischievous. You know, I was sort of fixated on something. And I was walking around, and I had this big, metal rod. Like I had this big, it was like a big stick made out of metal, you know? A pole. It was similar to a pole. And I was really thinking about birds, and I was really thinking about where they get their food and where they drink water. Right? And I was trying to find out how they do it, because they got the beaks, and I'm not sure how the... It's not a straw, you know, so I wanted to find out how birds drink water, and so I had this metal rod, and I was taking it, and I was trying to break into any place, regardless of whether or not I had permission. That was the mischievous part. I was trying to break into any place where I thought birds might be drinking anything. And I was taking this metal stick, and I was sort of... swinging it around, you know? And a guy on the sidewalk, he was sort of staring at me. And maybe it was because of the crime, but... he wasn't calling nobody. No phone calls, so I was sort of staring at him while he was staring at me, and I was smashing like a window or something. And he said, Ryan, I know what you're doing. And I said, oh yeah, old man. He said, I know what you're doing and that just ain't gonna work. And I said, old man, what is it you think I'm doing? And he said, Ryan, you're just not too smart. He looked at me, he looked at that pipe thing. It wasn't a pipe, but the metal thing, you know. And he looked at the building I was trying to get in and he said, Ryan, listen, that just ain't a crowbar. I think that was the first joke. And I feel concerned that this show is going to be far longer than I anticipated. It was supposed to be a 1-hour show, but this is going to be, you know, we're going to have breakfast. I can tell another joke, though. No, wait, this is a real story. This ain't a joke. This really happened. I had this horse. You never seen a horse like this one before. I had a horse, big horse, hungry horse. Big horses eat big food. I'm not a horse, but I think that I eat big food too, in a way. And that's why I was eating the peanuts, you know, because I felt real hungry. And I wasn't planning to eat the peanuts, but then my arms, both of them, were feeling a little bit tingly because of how little food I was eating. Recently I've been eating like 5,000 calories a day because I lift weights for an hour every day and I go jogging for an hour 2 times a week. But this ain't about me, this is about the horse. Please believe me when I tell you it was a hungry horse. So I was hoping to find some food for it. Like my friend who gave me the peanuts. You know, we were sort of near a river. And I figured I might as well get a fish. I'm not sure what else there is. Grass. But grass, compared to meat, seems a lot less energy dense, you know, in terms of biochemistry. But I'm no biochemist, so maybe I'm wrong. Do horses eat meat? That's a question. Does anyone know? Does anyone know? They do? They don't? Well, forget about them. I got a fish down by this river, and I brought the horse along, and I was trying to feed the fish to the horse. and it would not eat a bite. Maybe that's because they don't eat meat. It would not eat a single thing from the fish. And similar to how there was an old man watching me with that bird stuff, he wasn't an old man, but he was like a man of no obvious age range. He might have been 20 or 40 or that's about it. But he was a fisherman, he said, and he was watching me, and he also expressed a lack of confidence in my attempt to. I was trying to feed the fish to the horse, and the guy was shaking his head, and I said, "Fisherman, you too?" He said, "Yep." And I said, "What's it this time, fisherman?" And he said, "Ryan, look at yourself." And I was holding the fish up to the horse's mouth, and it was sort of smelling. Did I say fish or horse just now? Fish? That's what I thought I said. That's what I thought I said. He said, "Ryan, let me tell you something. The fact is that you can lead a horse to water. And you can try to give it a fish, but you can't make it eat for a day. And you can try to teach a horse to fish too, but you probably can't even make it eat for life." I've been using a dishwasher recently. And I had some ceramic plates, but all the plates kept breaking after I took them out of the machine, And this happened multiple times, and I had no idea why. And I thought maybe it was the soap or the detergent that I was using in the machine. I thought maybe it was for some other kind of plate or something, or like tin can, not a can. Like a tin plate, and not like a ceramic plate. Thought maybe it was the soap or something was too powerful in some way. But also I changed a water filter recently, and so I thought maybe I could have installed the water filter wrong, and then there was something in the water that was degrading the plates as the plates were washed, Or maybe it was the dynamite. I think it might have been the dynamite. feel like that's a funny story. You know, I was at a lady's apartment recently. She's a painter. What are you laughing at? She's a painter. And she had this one painting of a stop sign. And I was staring at it for a long time. Just staring at the painting. And it was hung up on her wall. And I was standing there and she walked over and she said, "What are you looking at it so long for?" And I said, "I'm waiting for it to turn green." And she said, "It's a stop sign." And I said, "Oh." Good painting. This next one is like a long one. And I'm not, if you thought they were long so far, this one might be a good time to go to the bathroom. I was in Mississippi a little bit ago, and I was there because there was a car race with race cars, right? Not like a big thing, not like the Kentucky Derby. That's got horses. But it was like a small sort of race. The small in terms of the amount of attention that was paid to it. I'm a bit gassy from the peanuts. And I was there because my friend was racing, and he was sort of an amateur racer, right? And figured I might as well go see him. And they were racing they called it the State Cup. I'm not sure if there are other car races happening much in Mississippi, but they called their prize the State Cup, right? And I was in that grandstand. That's what they're called, the big seats. And so I stopped asking questions. Okay. I was about to see my friend go out in his car because the race was about to start. But then this lady came over and she said, "Sir, ma'am, I'm a single mom," she said, "and I got this baby and I got its little sippy cup, but I really need to use the bathroom, but my bowel movement is so momentous that I would rather not bring my baby in the bathroom." This is just what she told me. And so I took the baby and I took the cup from her. But then because she was telling me sort of by the snack, what's that called? The store? Concession stand? I'm not going to ask any more questions. You just started the race. And so I got real flustered, and so I in my haste, I threw the baby away. And then I threw the sippy cup away, but just because I wasn't thinking about the baby, I was just thinking about the meaning of friendship, and I don't want to leave my friend alone. So I quickly ran to see the car, and the race was done real quick, and he lost because he's not very good at racing. And I went back to where the baby was, and I was feeling real distressed because my friend had lost, and I felt bad for him, even though I thought he would probably lose, Well, I still felt sad, and then I saw that the baby and its sippy cup were gone. My friend said that if he won, he would have given me the prize. So I was sort of feeling it. I thought he would probably lose, but I was feeling sort of attached to the prize for the race. But the baby was gone, and I was sort of looking around, and the lady came back from the bathroom. And this is I told you it was a long. And I saw the lady coming back, so I put my arms behind my back, which is a bit dishonest. But. She wasn't aware, so she asked Ryan, what's wrong with you? I had a look on my face. And where's my baby and its sippy cup? And I stand there and I said, ma'am, this is it. I sort of stuttered a bit when I was talking with the lady. I was about to tell her, and then the guy behind the counter at the concession stand, he was sort of seeing me stutter, and he said, what's wrong, fella, So I was feeling more pressured. And then I turned to the man, because he asked not because he's a man and the lady's a lady, but just because he asked most recent to that point. So I said, sir, I do not have the Mississippi cup. That's okay, I'm going to be older. I was waiting for a train also in a subway platform. This was like a week ago. And it was taking like 10 minutes past when it was scheduled to come. And so I was sort of leaning over the tracks a bit to see if a train was coming. And I sort of thought I saw something coming down the tunnel, so I was sort of leaning further to try and get a good look. And then I leaned too far, and then I fell onto the tracks. And I was right, a train was coming. And then the lights were real bright, and then the train was honking its horn real loud. And then it got closer and it sped towards me, and then it hit me. But there was a big squish noise, like a dog toy, and it was a squishy train. And I was okay. It was a squishy train. On another note, the suicide hotline keeps calling me. I wonder what that's about. Or does it feel strange how I don't have, these are unrelated stories? Because if you're looking for, it's too late. I had eye surgery recently. And while they took my eyeball all the way out, right? And because it was something behind, maybe my brain, maybe it was brain surgery and I didn't know. But one of the doctors accidentally dropped a little tool in my eye socket while they were doing the surgery, and then they didn't take it out by the end. And so for a while it was stuck, like, they put the eyeball back and then the tool was stuck behind the eyeball because it had one of those little light emitting diode LEDs, you know, and it had batteries, and so it was shining from behind my eye after they put it for like a week. And at nighttime, you can see the stars in the sky. But when the sun rises, because it's so dang bright, it outshines the rest of the stars and the lights, and then you can't see any. Because the sun is so much brighter. There was a similar thing happening with my eye and the tool that was left in there, right? I was just about blind for that week. Couldn't see a thing. Everything was so dark compared to it. Except for the lady that I shared a dance with last night. More of prose than a joke. I've been thinking something. I've been thinking about, now I want you to think about it too. Suppose there's a sailor, and suppose you're wanting to see if this sailor is capable in a visually artistic sense. And so you're asking this sailor to draw like a square or something, or a triangle, or something with like a straight line. And I was thinking that if I were to ask a sailor something like that in a similar situation, I have a concern that the sailor might draw a line, but it's a zigzag. Because of the sea legs. Because from their perspective, the waves are normal, and so he might think a zigzag looks like a straight line. On his boat. Must be bad for writing checks. Wonder how sailors get paid if they're. Must be cash. Oh, wait, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. You know, a few weeks ago, I missed a train to some town in some other town, and I had to wait at this diner for like an hour or something for the next train to come through to take me to that other town. And I was at this diner, and I was having some coffee, and there was an old lady. And she was sitting at a table, and she was playing chess, apparently. She had the board and she had the pieces, and she was by herself, but the game looked just about finished, right? And she was sitting there with the board and the pieces, and then just about as it seemed done, she got up and she threw the whole thing in the trash. And I shook my head. Old lady. Why might you have gone and done that? I was feeling a bit confident. And the lady said, you know how when trash gets put in the bin, it gets taken to that big mountain high above the clouds where all the trash goes. And I said, no. And she said, well, then, do you know how when like a dog gets real old, they go to that big farm upstate? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, it's like that, but for the trash. And I said, okay. And she continued, she said, I feel worried, because you know how there are laundry chutes? She didn't say that, I'm telling you. You know how there are laundry chutes? She's an old lady. She was around when there were maybe garbage chutes. That was a thing, right? Garbage chutes existed. She felt worried that like a baby could have been crawling around and it would have been playing around in like some building, and it might have thought it was a slide, and then it would have gone down the chute by accident, and then it would have been taken to the mountain. So she thought that what she ought to do in case there was a little baby that lived on the mountain and then grew into an adult all alone, she ought to mostly play the game, and she told me this, so that the now lonely adult on the mountain can finish the chess game and feel less lonely because they might feel like they played a chess game with another human. sometimes when I feel lonesome, a lot of the time it's at nighttime. Not like in a lonesome in a romantic way, but in general, I mean. Not like lonesome about what I notice is that sometimes in these moments I feel particularly lonesome in the nighttime. I find that moths begin to quietly flutter around me. Like little dreams in the nighttime. So delicate and ephemeral. Like a silent ballet churning the darkness. And disappearing into the morning light. As dreams often do. Speaking about silence, though, I was talking about moths at some other comedy club, and I don't think they liked it at all. And maybe that's because it wasn't much of a joke at all, but they were real quiet afterwards. And I'll tell you something. This is what I'll tell you. They were just about as quiet as a tuba player eating soup in a concert hall, I think. Because the tuba player's sitting there in the chair, and their mouth is on the mouthpiece, and I can't put it back down. Wait, I said I wasn't going to do that. I said I wasn't going to do that thing, and what I meant I wasn't going to do was I wasn't going to do that, and then I started doing it. But the tuba player has their mouth on the mouthpiece, and the cheeks are all puffy and red, but there's no sound coming out. And it's because the soup is inside the tuba. They're not expelling air through the mouth, they're intaking soup. What a tragedy. We're doing pretty good on time. I'm feeling worried it might be. No, I think I do got time. I think it might be a little bit longer than an hour. Is that okay? Well, you can leave anytime you want. Except for the bomb. I'm just kidding. There's no bomb. There are 2 bombs. That's a joke. I think a few people are actually leaving. I eat rice and beans a lot. I'll be honest, there's been a lot of clapping so far. And I just don't know if that last one was But I've been eating a lot of rice and beans, and I had a big plate of rice and beans earlier today, and it was 2 cups of dry beans, like the measurement is done before the cooking, I mean, right? So I ain't eating the beans dry, but in one cup of what? One cup of white rice, you know? Did I say something? Wait, did I say something? Now I feel worried. It was real hot in terms of temperature. And I got the notion that what I might do, sometimes it's in a bowl, and this was on a plate. And that's important. I'd swear to you it is. I'll show you it is. The 2 bombs wasn't really a joke. I'm sorry. I feel like that's aggressive. But did I tell you I only slept for 4 hours before? Did I tell you what happened? This ain't related to any bombs, but it's related to me feeling a little bit more impulsive and talking about bombs. But I don't want to talk about bombs anymore. But did I tell you when I woke up? Do you want to hear about it? I woke up at 11:20 p.m. last night. And so I've been awake for almost 24 hours now. But I was asleep for 4 hours before waking up, because I went to bed at 7 p.m. But before that, I was awake for like 24 hours, but I didn't want to be. But I had a job interview for a security job. He seemed to like the interview, the guy doing the interview. I don't remember what else I did. But I was awake for like 24 hours. No. I remember what happened. I was awake for 24 hours, then 12 hours, then I was asleep for the 4 hours, and then I'm awake now, and that's another 24. That's what happened. That's right, because I remember thinking the 4 hours might have been enough sleep, because I was only awake for 12 hours before that. No. There was one day where I was awake for 24 hours. And then I slept for a little bit. And then I woke up at about 8 in the morning, I'm pretty sure. And then I'm pretty sure after that I went to sleep at 5 p.m. So that's like 9 hours, right? That was 9 hours of being awake. And then I was asleep for some amount of time. And then maybe I was awake for 24 hours again, and then no, and then no, and then... It's hard to keep track of days when sometimes you're awake 2 times in the same day, and then sometimes you're not awake in any day at all. Entire periods of 24 hours can pass by and you won't even be conscious, and when I say you, I mean me. Lord knows I'm feeling it. So never mind about whatever it was I was going to explain. I don't remember. But about these rice and beans. It was on the plate, like I said, which is important. I told you it's important. And then because they were hot. And it was not so hot that I burned my mouth while I was trying to eat them, but they were sufficiently hot that it felt uncomfortable to eat them at the speed at which I normally eat rice and beans, corresponding to the level of hunger which I was feeling at that time. It was a bit too hot is what I mean. So I decided I'd take a spoon and I'd spread them out, and then I'd recollect the rice and beans into the center of the plate. And then I'd spread it out again, and I was venting the rice and beans. Like some sort of heat accordion. But also I was sort of recollecting them because after they got spread out, I'd take a spoonful, and then there would be like a hole, and I didn't want the pimples, you know. I didn't suppose we're on the inside of a human, a big human, and the surface of the rice and beans contacting the plate is sort of like the outside surface of their skin, you know? And then if I take the spoonful of rice and beans and then there's a valley from the displaced rice and beans, and that's sort of like a pimple in the dermis of the big human. Because we're on the inside and we're looking out. How many of you paid for this show? Don't laugh too hard at that one. Now, I done some more thinking, and it's come to my attention that there are tile floors in buildings, and I knew this well, but I've been thinking about it more. There are tile floors, I'm sure you're all familiar, and they have grout in between the floor tiles. And I understand that I was thinking of something that makes me feel sad to imagine. And I understand that you might tell me that the grout that's in between the floor tiles has in fact placed there by humans. I'm well aware of that. But it makes me feel sad to imagine that the grout in between floor tiles was not placed there by humans, and instead it was moving by itself, trying to work its way through the maze in between the tiles, and it took too long, and it froze and got stuck. And it's drowned. It makes me feel sad to imagine. Did some thinking after that? You know, so they got sparkling water, and they got regular water, and they got the same sort of thing with rocks. Like they got the sparkling rocks and they got the regular rocks, you know. They got like gemstones, like shining, and they got the regular stuff, you know. Gravel. Gravel ain't bad, it's just different. But and when they separate the shiny rocks, such as the gemstones, from the regular rocks, they use big machines in the ground, deep in the earth, in big industrial mining operations and things, you know, or dynamite and things, and they blast the rocks apart. And I'm just not sure how they do that with the sparkling water and the regular water. Maybe with a hose or a bucket or something, but like the gemstones are in veins in the regular rocks, often in maybe the sparkling waters and the veins and I'm not sure. But that's just something that just crossed my mind. You know that friend I said I had who was racing cars in Mississippi, you know? And he was real bad at racing. He, after that, in Mississippi, he quit car racing and he tried a different sport, and he tried boxing. And he was also real bad at that. And he got, for a few years, he got beat real bad all the time. I never seen him win. And, you know, I talked to him one day, and I said, "Pal, you know, you can't keep living like this. What do you expect to happen, you know?" He said, "Ryan, the way I see it is that the good Lord might take me away any day now, but sometimes he just needs a little bit of help." I thought, damn. He's a patient man. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about patience. I was thinking about it for a few days, and then I remembered about the first thing. I thought that maybe that grout in between the floor tiles never really froze and got stuck. Maybe it's all the way through all the tiles, so maybe that means it just tried every possible path. And maybe the grout had patience, and maybe it found its way out. Right? And I was thinking about that. Water. And maybe that's how they separated. Not with a hose or a bucket, but with patience. And I'm not sure what happened to my friend there. Maybe he made it out. Was that too sad? I didn't say in what way. Throughout a lifetime, I find that there are occasionally brief moments in time during which I'm certain, and that certainty is coalesced and is strong in brief moments and diffuses back into mystery and magic, like small eddies roaming on a lake. Returning to stillness. And you know, the blood that's in my body, in my circulatory system, doing a similar sort of thing, I think, like a little ballet too, because it's going around in loops all throughout me. And you know those moths? You remember those moths? Those ain't too different, I think. Because you gotta be real close to hear like a heart beating, and real still to hear it beating. And you gotta be real close and real still to hear a moth clap its wings. These ephemeral patterns. Now, this is the last part. I was thinking, I've been doing a lot of thinking. And I'm sorry about that. If there's a guy and he's blind and he's deaf or something, wait. Yeah. If there's a guy and I'm doing the thing again. You didn't do anything, but I've been looking at you every time I've been doing the thing. It's just because on camera, I noticed before that when I'm doing this, it sort of looks like I'm standing like this, because my feet they're spaced, but you can't. I just feel like I look like a dork in the video. If there were a blind deaf man and he was smelling stuff. This is the scary part. He might only really be smelling stuff on the other side of the world, like in a supernatural sort of way, right? Like a supernatural sort of way. He ain't smelling the stuff in front of him or behind him or something, but on the other side of the world, I'm not sure how it'd work, but if that were to happen, then no one might ever know. Isn't that terrifying? And some animals that aren't humans might, like a dog or something, might think that floors are the ground, right? Like a lot of dogs might be thinking floors are the ground, but you and us humans, we know better. Well, what feels more perplexing, what feels more surprising is that there could be a dog that's blind and deaf. And that dog might also be smelling, in a supernatural way, something on the other side of the world. And that thing might be a floor. And this dog, blind and deaf, is smelling a floor on the other side of the world supernaturally, but it thinks that it's a ground. And I just don't have a way to help it. That's the end of my business here.